Hey guys, it's Chloe and today I am here with a brand new video. Today I am here with my October wrap-up, and in the month of October I read a total of 7 books. So as for my stats for this month, like I said, I read a total of 7 books. 2 of them were physical books, 1 was an ebook, and 4 of them were audiobooks. I completed 1 letter for the A to Z challenge, and 2 challenges for the Pop Sugar challenge. As far as some miscellaneous stuff is concerned, there was a good mix of genres this month and a pretty even mix of traditional and indie books read. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first book I completed in the month of October was November 9 by Colleen Hoover, and this is an interesting book for me to read because there is a lot of controversy going around with Colleen Hoover, particularly in this book. And I wasn't going to read it, but my friend Desiree issued a challenge for me to read it, and I finished it. And while I do see its problems, the overall story I did enjoy, so I ended up giving it 4 stars. There is a problematic scene that has been talked about where it's essentially romanticizing rape, and I do see where that is coming from, but other than that, I found the rest of the story to be quite enjoyable. For the A to Z challenge, it counted as the letter N, and for the Pop Sugar challenge, it counted as a book with a month or day of the week in the title. The next book I completed was Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo, and this was the September book of the month for Once Upon a Read-Along. This is the first book in the DC Icons series, and I think going into it, I feel like a lot of people might think about this, and that is that they think that this is the movie. And I'm here to tell you that it is not the movie. The timeline is very, very different from the movie. She's not even an adult in this book. She's actually a teenager. And this book was very different from what I was expecting. I started off reading this as a physical book and then ended up listening to the audiobook, and I still found this book to be enjoyable despite not being what I expected. I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. It did not count for the A to Z challenge, and it did not count for the Pop Sugar challenge. The next book I completed was actually a short story, and it is called Circle of Justice by Robbie Cox. This is a short story surrounding a handgun and who it's being passed from throughout its life. I received this at Indie Book Fest in the blogger author meetup, and this particular bind-up also includes first chapters of his other books as well. I ended up not rating this and giving it a star rating because I really don't know what I want to rate it yet. This did not count for a letter for the A to Z challenge, and it did not count for the Pop Sugar challenge. Next, I read When They Call by L.E. Perez, and this is a short story about a girl who can hear voices, and she's not really sure why she can hear these voices, only that she's been able to hear them since she was in an accident. I also do not have a star rating for this one yet. I'm trying to mull it over and decide, and again, it's only marked as read right now on Goodreads, so I haven't figured out a star rating for it yet. It did not count for a letter for the A to Z challenge, and it did not count for the Pop Sugar challenge. The next book I read was The Wish Granter by C.J. Redwine, and this is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling in the Ravenspire series. This is the second book to come out in the series. The third one, The Traitor Prince, comes out early next year. And I enjoyed the first book in the series, and I also enjoyed this one. I also really love the Rumpelstiltskin story, so I was looking forward to reading this book. I did listen to the audiobook for this one, and I gave it 4 stars. It did not count for a letter for the A to Z challenge, and it did not count for the Pop Sugar challenge, but I am excited for when the 3rd book comes out next year. The next book I read was another short story novella, and it is called The Ghost of Death by Chris Fay. This is about a girl who wakes up and realizes that she is dead, and she's following the top detective on her case to solve how she died and who murdered her. I received an ebook copy of this book in exchange for a mini review during this wrap-up, and I found this book to be quite enjoyable. I thought it went really well with the theme of October and Halloween, and because I don't read a lot of thrillers, I thought it would be perfect to read during this month, especially since it is only about 40 pages. I enjoyed this book. I found it to be very interesting, trying to follow around our main character and discover how she died. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. It did not count for a letter for the A to Z challenge, and it did not count for the Pop Sugar challenge. And the last book I completed in the month of October was The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and this book was absolutely amazing. I can't believe I waited this long to finally pick up this book, but it was so good. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I did listen to the audiobook and it was absolutely amazing. The audiobook narration is perfect for this book, and this book is just so beautifully written. I'm actually going to be meeting Angie Thomas at YALLFest this year, and that is why I wanted to read this book before attending YALLFest. This did not count for a letter for the HC challenge, and for the Pop Sugar challenge, it counted as a book recommended by your favorite author, because a couple months ago, I tweeted 3 authors. I tweeted Marissa Meyer, Casey West, and Catherine Holmes for recommendations for this challenge, and Catherine Holmes replied with The Hate You Give, as well as, I believe, Eliza and Her Monsters. Those are all the books that I completed in the month of October, but before I leave you guys, I also started Wonder by R.J. Palacio, which is the October book of the month for Once Upon a Read Along, and our live show was yesterday, so I have finished this book by the time you're seeing this video, just I didn't finish it in October. I also started another audiobook, which was Three Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. And you may be wondering about my October unwrapped book, and I have broken my streak, and I did not start it or pick it up or finish it at all in the month of October, which is Falling for Him by Amy Stevens. So what I've decided is I'm going to read this in November, and I'm going to pick it up as soon as I possibly can. So guys, that is all I have for this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to check out my vlog channel, Chloessence, I will leave that in the description below. And if you'd like to see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so click subscribe so you can be updated for when I post those. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!